I have done quite a bit of work with Office 365, or Microsoft 365 to be more accurate. I've seen the good, and I've seen the bad. These are the top 7 things that I think everyone should know before committing to it. Although if you've already started, that's okay, this will still be useful. Welcome back to the Pro Tech Show, the place for tech tips and advice for IT pros and decision makers. I'm going to count these tips down from 7 to 1, because let's face it, countdowns are more exciting. In at 7 we have reliability. Now I don't want to overstate this one, but I do want to address it, because a lot of people assume that getting Microsoft server platforms delivered by Microsoft will be a lot more reliable than their on-premises equivalents. They're not. At least not if you're managing the on-prem ones correctly. Office 365 doesn't aim for 100% uptime. It's a balance between allowing Microsoft to innovate and try out new features, keeping it reliable enough that customers don't revolt, whilst keeping it cheap enough that lots of people will pay for it and Microsoft still make a decent margin. The 365 in Microsoft 365 definitely doesn't stand for its uptime. Or if it does, that's only because they almost always classify their outages as disruption rather than downtime, so SLAs aren't affected. If that sounds harsh, then maybe Microsoft might want to try explaining to their customers who haven't been able to work for most of the day that it's not actually down, it's just disrupted, because frankly I'm getting a bit fed up having to do it for them. In reality, the reliability is fine. If it was really bad, nobody would use it. Microsoft aren't stupid, they know how far they can push it before people get annoyed. There's almost always something somewhere in Office 365 that's broken, but the vast majority of the time it will be incredibly minor and you won't notice. If you need 100% guaranteed uptime, this might not be the best option for you. But for most businesses, it's fine. Just go into it with your eyes open and don't overpromise. Don't tell your board the service is going to be invincible. Tell them there will be occasional problems, but when they happen, someone else will deal with it and it will come back up. If people make an informed decision, they can generally live with the odd blip, but they don't like to feel misled. Number 6. Optimize your licensing. The Microsoft 365 product stack is huge and its licensing is convoluted and confusing. There are loads of ways to buy the same service and this can lead to you overspending. As a general rule, it is better value to purchase product suites rather than individual services, sometimes ridiculously so. Take SharePoint for example. The cheapest way to buy SharePoint is to buy the standalone SharePoint Online Plan 1 for £3.80 per user per month. But Microsoft 365 Business Basic is also £3.80 per user per month and it includes SharePoint as well as Teams and Exchange. So why would anyone buy standalone SharePoint? Well, if you have less than 300 users you probably shouldn't. But when you get beyond that you can't use the business plan anymore and it's cheaper than an E1 license, assuming you only need SharePoint. If you buy the cheapest standalone SharePoint plan and the cheapest standalone Exchange plan, guess what? You could have bought an E1 subscription. This leads many people to say, sod it, I'll just buy the big subscription that includes everything I need. Except then, chances are you've just bought a whole bunch of services you have no intention of using. You might have been better off with a middle tier package plus a couple of add-ons. So what's the answer? Work out what services you're going to need and figure out the most cost-effective way to get all of them together. Don't let someone upsell you just in case. You can always add more features later. A good licensing partner here can save you quite a bit of money, whereas a bad one will simply fleece you for commission. Don't forget about the on-premises world either. Some Microsoft Cloud subscriptions include on-premises access rights. In fact, the cheapest way to license your on-premises servers is sometimes with a Microsoft 365 subscription. If you can offset a cost in one place to get you more services in the other without changing your budget, you're winning. Next up, it's the cloud. It changes. Sometimes services or features get killed off. Other times free services suddenly become premium services. Premium as in, now you've got to pay for them. That also works the other way. Sometimes premium features are moved down a tier at no extra cost, particularly the security ones. You have to remember this is an evergreen subscription model. You're not buying a fixed service for a fixed price and that's it forever. The services and prices may change and you're free to keep paying or not. What can you do about this one? The most important thing is to stay informed. Microsoft won't spring changes on you, they will typically give you plenty of notice. Where a lot of people hit problems is when they don't bother to read their messages. They end up scrambling to replace a critical service with only a week to go because they didn't read the notification that arrived months ago. I appreciate there are a lot of notifications to read, but they're there for a reason. If Microsoft decide to kill off a service, they might suggest a better alternative, or at least an alternative. In any case, you'll want to take action and plan some sort of change before you just lose access to it and have to explain to the rest of the business what happened. The cloud changes quickly. Yeah, we already covered that, but here's the bit you might have missed. You need to keep up. Gone are the days where you could just sit back on the same software stack for 10 years. If one half of your infrastructure, the cloud, is getting upgraded every single day and you leave the rest lagging behind, then sooner or later you're going to run into problems. The ideal is that you upgrade everything, every single version straight away, but I know that can be a struggle for many organizations, so let me put it into a familiar life cycle. The traditional Microsoft life cycle was that you get 5 years of mainstream support followed by 5 years of extended support. Mainstream meant feature and compatibility updates. Extended meant security patches and nothing else. Obviously Microsoft wanted you to upgrade to the latest version every 3 years or so, and you said, nah, I'll do it every 5. And then some of you said 5 and actually meant 10, justifying it as sweating your assets. I mean, you can't have a compatibility issue if everything you own is a decade old, right? I'm not condoning that, I just know for a fact that some of you were doing it. The problem now is that as soon as you go past mainstream support, there's no guarantee anything will continue to work. It's not getting compatibility updates and the cloud end is constantly updating. Microsoft have a habit of threatening to block old software from connecting and then not following through on it, but they will eventually get round to it. More to the point, if there's a security issue that can be mitigated by blocking software that's out of mainstream support, they will just kill it and say, told you so. You might cry if that happens to you, but here's the deal. The cloud thing has responsibilities on both sides. By signing up, you're effectively committing to keeping your end up to scratch. Don't think you can just keep running stuff for 10 years and it'll all be fine. In fact, for a lot of modern systems, that 5 and 10 year life cycle is a thing of the past. Mainstream support may now only last a matter of months if you're not patching regularly. Stay on top of your updates. We're into the top 3 now, and I've got a slightly controversial one. Backups. Microsoft do not provide you with backups. You need to bring your own. Why is this controversial? Because salespeople like to tell you the cloud is bulletproof and you don't need backups. They're wrong. Office 365 is very resilient. Office 365 has a lot of data retention and undo features. There are still a number of ways you can lose data and not be able to recover it without a third-party backup. I have an entire video about this, so I'll link it up here and in the video description. Here's the bottom line though. I have come across multiple examples of data loss in Office 365 that could not have been prevented using its native tools. As to what Microsoft say about this, it's in your services agreement. Maybe you didn't read it, but it plainly tells you that you should use a third-party backup service. I've had to give a few companies the bad news that their data is gone before, and I don't like doing it. Get yourself a backup. Here comes number 2, and it's all about the dark side of sharing and collaboration. Office 365 is great at empowering people to collaborate and share information, even with people outside your organisation. The problem is that if you just let people at it, it will very quickly become a Wild West. It'll be an unstructured and unmanageable mess, and you won't have any clue where your data has ended up. This is a security and compliance nightmare. It's a big offender when it comes to security breaches, and it can become so confusing for people that they'll just give up trying to use it. It is very important, especially for larger organisations, that you put some thought into a strategy first. Understand your data, design your strategy, and plan your governance. Remember the 7 Ps. Proper planning and preparation prevents piss-poor performance. It matters here too. It is much easier to get it right from the start than it is to try and reel it all back in afterwards, closing the door after the horse is bolted, so to speak. If you design it properly and plan the rollout, you can improve adoption and help people reap the benefits without opening Pandora's box and putting your organisation at risk. Last tip, have you guessed it yet? Use multi-factor authentication. Don't think about it, don't put it in a risk log, just do it. It's really not that difficult. There is a basic version included with every Office 365 subscription, and it blocks 99.9% of account compromise attacks. I cannot stress this enough. I know intelligent people I respect who are just too lazy to do this, and it's really dumb. It is such an easy way to mitigate your risk. If you've not done it, do it right now. I'll pop another link up here and in the description to a video I made about multi-factor authentication. It was my first ever video, so it probably looks a bit dated now, but there's a reason I picked it as my first topic. It's important. Go do it now. I'll wait. There's a pause button. Actually, that was number 1, so the video's almost over. There are a couple of other important things you need to do though. You need to hit the like button because you're still here and I consider that to be you liking this content. If you just squidge a bit over from there, there's a subscribe button too. If it's red, that's YouTube's way of telling you forgot to click it. Seriously though, I hope this has been helpful. There are a lot more useful tips I could have covered, so if there's something you think should have made the top 7, then drop it in the comments. In fact, what are your top 7 tips? Pop them down in the comments, then scroll all the way back up here and click on one of these videos. Because if you don't, YouTube will make me go away, and I'll be stuck on your computer until you come back. That's how the internet works, I think. Thanks for watching guys, see you next time.